You are now tuned in to the GNWY podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the GNWY podcast. Do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things so we can be able to get this guest's story out more effectively. And today we have none other than the legend OKC. Everybody knows him for dancing Twix. Chris Shepard. Make some noise for my guy, Chris Shepard, everybody. Yeah.
That's love.
My guy. It's so good to see you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All the way back from Atlanta,
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes.
How does it feel to be back in the OKC?
I just love the love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt that. This will be like my third time traveling back, but for the first time, this is the first time I came back for like work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so the last two times,
you came back for a reason.
I came back for I say it's an investment, but mainly it was more of like the passion projects that were put together here.
Right.
So the first time was back in December. Had to come back to see the first Hip Hop Nutcracker.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Were you a part of that one? Or?
I wasn't a part of it, and this was the first one I wasn't a part of directly.
Right.
But I came back as a supporter, so I came back into the audience, which is different.
Right.
Not performing,
but
also to celebrate and to support my fellow brothers and sisters, the dancers that put that show on, and I wanted to see what they did, and it was amazing.
What was the second time?
The second time was I want to say about 2 months ago. I can't remember if it was shortly after I got married, so I would say May.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
2 months and 4
days. Yes.
So congrats, bro.
So the second time I came back for the Calderon Festival.
And you proposed like a boss. You tell people how you proposed real quick.
Okay. I proposed quite literally about a year ago.
Yeah.
It was the last show of Race's season.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It was a loom, and at the end there was like this freestyled kind of like jazz where we had Original Flow, and his spoken word and rapping, and then we had two other artists, one that was on slap box, like that slap, that we had a tuba player and dancers. So we was like, okay, what can we create about this? And it was a pure moment of joy. That was the thing. It was called Protectors of Joy. So in it, after the show, obviously my wife was there before she was my lady. I wouldn't even call her a girlfriend.
Oh,
I never used
phases.
I never even used that term.
That's swag.
So when we were always together, I don't know. I think girlfriend just seemed broad to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are women, but even then, I wanted it to be special specifically for her. So I always called her my lady.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Go. So I always use the term my lady.
That's some for all of y'all that need to know how to get a girl.
Yes.
Call her a lady.
So I brought her. First I just was speaking and addressing the crowd because I knew that was going to be my last show. And this was a 10-year journey in race that was typically ending because I was moving away from the city.
Next chapter and stuff.
My next chapter. But also I was saying to them that there was only one person that could pull me away from the city. And then I brought her out. So
let's go.
So a little bit of Riz.
That's
a little bit of Riz.
Up, bro.
I had a plan because
did everybody on race already know about it?
Typically.
Okay.
Typically. They learned a little bit later. I didn't want to tell everyone because I couldn't. You can't
spoil the surprise.
You can't spoil the surprise.
Right.
You couldn't spoil the surprise.
Yeah.
What happened? Dang, I just blanked.
You were freestyling, right?
I was freestyling. So yes, I was speaking through the mic and telling them that there was only one person that could pull me from the city.
Yeah.
So I had a plan because my wife does not like attention, like at all.
Right.
She does not like attention.
Yeah.
So either plan was to go to her or to have her come to me.
So she was in the crowd.
She was in the crowd.
Okay.
And the crowd was great because it was in a full circle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the audience was all around us.
Yeah.
And she was one of the ones on the lower levels. So just in case, I had planted like Cha-Cha was there, He-Cha was there. So I planted her, and I planted my best man, Timothy T, to get her. But she got up on her own accord, which was great.
Okay. Yeah.
And and I
She
proposed.
understood the assignment. Yeah,
I proposed right there on the spot.
that's crazy. I bet everybody was going nuts.
It was nice. It was
Yeah.
also a full circle moment because I got the idea from like my big brother, John Ariete.
Okay.
Yes, he proposed the last show of a season to his wife, to his now wife, and I got that idea.
That's dope.
And I was like, yeah, I want to do this too.
That's so dope, man. Congratulations, bro, on these 2 months. And well, it's probably been longer than that. And so, right. Yeah. That's dope, man. For the people who do not know Chris Shepard, okay, to give us a 30-second like brief intro of who you are.
30 seconds. Well,
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Twix Shepard. Twix came from a lisp that I grew up with. So I'm skinny. So my nickname was Twigs.
Yeah.
But that's where you got the Twix from.
Okay.
I'm an actor and I love to dance. I love to sing. But mainly, if I was to boil it down to one thing, I am an artist and I'm a storyteller.
Let's go.
So I love to tell a story.
That's beautiful.
That's me. I grew up here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
But now I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. So
yeah, that's dope.
My love.
Where did you graduate from?
I graduated. In high school I graduated from Midwest City.
Yeah.
So I was a Middale kid.
The dub. Let's go.
Middale through and through.
Yeah.
Grew up in Dale City.
Did you dance in high school too?
Well, I didn't train.
Okay.
So I didn't train until I was 18. So once I got into college, I started training. But I was always dancing.
Right.
I just didn't. I think around that time you just didn't know.
Like jumping on the
lunch
table.
You know what I'm saying? Well, not necessarily jumping on the lunch tables.
Right.
I'm sure they would let me though.
Pouring
by that point.
Milk carton all over yourself. Yeah.
Like full High School Musical.
Yeah.
Stick to the status quo. So I was the dancer of the school specifically.
Right.
Because everywhere I went, you couldn't stop me from expressing myself.
Right.
There were times where people were like, "Why are you always dancing?" And I didn't quite have the maturity to fully answer it.
Right.
But regardless, I wasn't going to stop. So there is that.
Yeah.
But in terms of me calling myself a dancer, I didn't also have the maturity to fully know what dance was at that point. But I mean, I was always moving to something.
That's dope. So who were some of your inspirations back then?
Back then, quite literally Michael Jackson for sure.
Of course.
I didn't know there were other dancers like me in the city until I want to say my junior year in high school.
Okay.
And I met the crew Band of Misfits with Cam Graham, with Josh Akpara, with Jamel, and then I met like Blush Crew. So I didn't know there were other dancers in the city like that until then, which to me just seemed late. And then I want to say maybe a year or 2 years after that, then I really started training. Training a lot more, took it more serious.
That's dope. And then what introduced you to the hip hop scene here in Oklahoma City?
Swoosh Crew, Team Swoosh. Downtown, Bricktown, they always had around, I want to say when it was the warmer months of the year. Down in the Riverwalk, they had a boom box, put the cardboard down, the old school way, and they was playing music. And what was great about it is that even though they had their own dancers, they always had the floor open for whoever wanted to express themselves at the time. So that really got me into the hip hop scene. There I met cool people like Alfonso. I met cool people like Dell. Dell from Team Swoosh. Even more so, I met Angel. Angel was really cool, cool in that. And I
didn't know he danced.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he got down.
That's wild.
He got down. Even then, he was just always like spitting bars and dropping gems to people like me.
That's crazy.
So that went on for I want to say 2 years because my first job ever was at Harkins.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Taking tickets or what are you doing?
It was a little bit of taking tickets.
Adding the butter? What
a
are
little.
You doing?
I was not behind the concession.
One
thing I was not behind the concession.
Because
I
were
probably
a people
would have.
person. Yeah.
I was definitely a people person. I wanted to rip the tickets. I found cleaning the theaters were boring.
Yeah.
But so anytime they wanted to put me in front of the tickets and the gathering Definitely, that was my thing.
what's up.
It didn't last long though.
Right.
it was a quick little job.
Yeah.
I don't think I lasted 3 months, fam.
I remember when Harkins was popping though,
Yeah.
as a kid, what I'm saying? Like that was the place to go.
It was the place to go. You had to go to the Cine Capri.
Like, going there,
That's where like the celebrities would go right when we got the Thunder.
Yeah.
So I heard stories about Kobe being there. I was like, what?
Right.
No way. So you had
I'm
that.
about to cut some tickets.
But what was great about it was for my lunch breaks, I would go down to the Riverwalk and I would see Team Swish.
Yeah.
I'm in full uniform, dancing, fam. Dancing for my 30-minute lunch break. I would take the 23 minutes to go dance.
Yeah.
The 2 minutes to walk back, and then eat for 4 minutes so I can get back within that 1 minute.
That's so dope.
I'm telling you, my time was crazy.
my time.
my timing was crazy.
Right.
So it was fun.
That's dope, man. So, bro, like, I mean, you explained it well whenever you say you're an artist and everything, and an entertainer, pretty much. Like, so, like, how, for people who like do not understand the entertainment world, for one, in Oklahoma City, but then also in general, like, what makes you so passionate about wanting to be that type of entertainer? Because you seem so easy of like, stuff just flows from you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's dance, acting, or whatever. But it seems like you provide some type of energy just being Chris,
I think it came from, you ever heard that term of when you get older, you want to be the version of yourself to give your younger self love?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's what I do it for. So specifically for the kids that can't sit still, that are looking for avenues to do something with their lives. So it was always for young people. It was always for younger people. I always wanted to be cool growing up, and I wasn't cool until high school, which was crazy.
Right.
But I always wanted to be that. And I think I'm realizing now, or my time that I had here, even now, I'm realizing now that I was always that. You know what I'm saying? I just had to continue to be what I was, and the people will follow. Like, over time, it'll start to gravitate. Even though you're always going to get some kind of hate, you're always going to get some kind of negativity, but you got to look past that. So as an artist, as an entertainer, I do it for those young ones. I do it for the young ones, for sure.
That's real. I mean, it shows, man.
I mean,
you're doing classes as well for the kids, and even here in Oklahoma City, you're doing classes and then traveling with GNWY and doing all the things, bro. Like, I mean, it's beautiful how you move, bro.
Thank you.
You really out here for the people, man.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's artists or like dancers or whatever, but like that are out here, and you could tell the different type of energy that they bring. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's I just want to be dancing, I just want to look cool or whatever. But it's like, you captured that and now know that it's for somebody else.
Yes.
And so I appreciate that, bro.
Even younger, I didn't even think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew, I want to say since age 7, I was in children's theater. And I had older mentors like Dewey Williams and Al Bostic that always looked over me and gave me those opportunities. But I didn't think of it as in a sense of I'm helping, I was helping people younger than me, or I was having people always look up to me until specifically after high school. Once I entered college, then I think that's when the purpose really started to emerge itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Once I've had people come up to me and say, you have people that have eyes on you specifically, and you have to know that at all times. So then I started moving with more intention and yes, with a purpose specifically. Man. And I think that's another thing why I love GNWY specifically, because before I heard about it, I was like, oh, they just going into schools and it looks like a concert, but at that point, I wasn't paying attention to the specific message. So then once I got the message and the purpose of what you were doing, and then worked backwards from there, I was like, it makes sense. The same reason why I do what I do, the same reason why I'm an entertainer is, if you look at me at face value, you're like, oh, this is cool. But then you know why I'm doing it. Then it starts to align itself. You start seeing what the message is truly about. So
man,
I love that. That's why at any point I was like, yo, can I be a part of Generation Y? Can I jump in?
Always. I want to jump in. When I capitalize always, Chris, Always, bro.
I feel that.
It means a lot, and it hits a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whenever you do move with intentionality, because you know, I think that you start to see like, you know, the arts being portrayed as just a release or just an escape for one person.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you get in that zone, and I feel like watching, especially watching you and Jaden and Chase, bro, like whenever you see certain people get into a certain zone,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're an outsider looking into that world, you know what I'm saying, and then you start seeing the effects of what that zone does to other people. It makes your art more beautiful than you just freely expressing yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like, but watching y'all specifically, man, is super dope because y'all may not even recognize it. You know what I'm saying? You're just moving, dancing, and doing your thing, and it's like you just watch thousands or hundreds of other kids, or just people in general, and they were like, "Dang, I want to not only do that, but I want to find that."
Yeah.
That thing that makes me move like that or feel like that. And I think that's what is so dope about the art, bro.
It's dope. You never know it in the moment. You never see it in the moment until after the moment is done. And even then, it's you'll hear you did a good job, but what goes beyond that is when you have the little ones that come up to you and it's like, yo, how do you do that? What do you do? Oh, I just want to learn. Or they're just that much interested. And like I said, it goes back to what I was when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? If I saw someone who I admired, it's a model. That's the figure. That's the thing that you're chasing. And then you blink and you become that. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. It's wild, bro. I love it, man. And I love y'all's heart behind it because it's hard to find the people who got the right heart too, you know? And so that's why I think you're dope, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody needs to know Chris Shepard, Twix. I didn't even know that your name came from a lisp.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yes.
So you had the lisp and you came up with Twix.
Well, think of it this way. I said twigs in class.
Twigs.
In class.
Okay.
But because I had a lisp, it said Twix. I said Twix.
Okay.
And I got made fun of for it.
For you saying Twix.
For me saying Twix. Okay. I got made fun of until in middle school, there were a couple girls that when they heard it, they was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's nice." And you know and that kind of influence. It just hits harder.
It's crazy whenever women say something, you know, nice.
It is.
You're like, that's gonna stick with me for a long time.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I was like, all right, cool. Then it became the character. That's the character I portray on stage.
That's wild.
So that's the love.
That's crazy that the things that, you know, we can get made fun of. And then we can turn our weakness into a strength. That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
And you did that. And that name has stuck with you since middle school. So how many years is that?
You funny.
Too long.
It's been too long. It's been too long. I want to say middle school was maybe 12, 13.
Yeah.
So 16 years.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's dope. And you've been all over, bro. Tell these people what you've been doing, man. Tell these people like all the places that you've been. Where have you taken dance, your acting, your everything?
Okay. Well, specifically Oklahoma City.
Right.
I've been a part of Race Dance Collective for 10 years.
Yeah.
Also, acting wise or dance wise, any of the above, I was teaching in a couple locations. Well, I mean, I teach all over the city,
right.
but specifically Movement Innovations. That's my first studio. That's my home studio.
Yeah. Where's that one at?
That's on Northwest OKC.
Okay.
I want to say, I know it's down the street from OAC, the Oklahoma Athletic Center.
Off Hefner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's off of, I believe it's definitely off of May, closer by Britain. I don't know the exact address off the top of my head, but yeah, Northwest OKC.
They can look it up.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brina.
Yeah.
Where else?
Bro,
obviously Oklahoma City. I was a Thunder dancer.
You were a Thunder dancer, bro.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Drop the name. OKC.
I was one of the first members of the O City crew. Yes,
Come
sir.
On now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were on the court.
I was on the court. I've definitely been on the court, living, and I guess that goes back to that purpose of me wanting to do it for those younger ones.
Yeah, man.
I can't forget back from the beginning. 7 years old, rhythmically speaking.
Okay.
I've been with them that long.
You said 7 years old?
7 years old,
okay,
fam.
so you just stepped out the womb dancing. Okay.
Out the womb. Well, not even dancing. It was a theater troupe.
Okay.
And then it influenced some dance in there.
That's
So
dope.
so rhythmically speaking is the first. Then I would say race.
Mm-hmm.
Then Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously my teaching.
Did some stuff at UCO too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I was a dance major at UCO.
Bro, I know your catalog. Don't
Graduated from UCO. Yeah, sometimes you
Yeah.
you forget.
Right,
you
right,
forget. I did work at Pollard Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Pollard Theater was a huge one for me.
And now you're doing stuff in Atlanta.
Now I'm doing stuff in Atlanta.
Yeah.
In Atlanta right now, I am at Moving in the Spirit.
Move it in the spirit.
Yes.
That's what's up. Okay.
Yeah, Moving in the Spirit. Moving in the Spirit it's like a studio. But not even but they use dance as a tool to give kids their social skills and direct knowledge for them to know in order for them to go into their lives.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It was the first time for me really realizing that there were a thing called dance therapists. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's a one of my coworkers. They're looking to go into drama therapy.
Yeah, yeah.
So like,
I first heard about that through Chase whenever he first came a part of the team, and I was like,
Okay.
bro, what's your purpose? And this is what I usually ask everybody that wants to join GNWY and stuff. And he was like, man, I mean, you know how Chase talks, right?
Yeah.
I wanna be like a therapist, but then also teach dance. And also, I was like, so a dance therapist? And I was like, I didn't know that that's a thing.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago. And so apparently
Yeah.
it's becoming like more of a thing.
I can see it. I can see it.
I hope that he sticks to that, bro.
I
would be
want him
amazing.
to. As a matter of fact, as a big brother, I'm going to make sure
Please do.
that we stay on that.
Please
We're
do.
gonna stay on that task.
Yes. Yeah,
because they need to see him.
Man, for real.
They need
and
that.
he's got a story
And he
that's
has-
like
yeah.
wild. Yeah. So yeah, bro.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I've thought about going back to school specifically.
Let's go.
To be a dance therapist.
You would be amazing too.
Oh,
Yes. I can see you
It's
doing
the
that.
school part, fam. It's the school
Right,
part.
right. Yeah, yeah.
I gotta make sure that ducks are on a roll
Right,
before
for sure.
I make that leap, because
Of
it took me a little bit to graduate. It took me
Yeah.
about 6.5 years
That's
in order
okay.
for me to graduate
Yeah.
from my undergrad.
That's
There's a
what's
story
up.
there.
Okay.
There's a story
Let's
there.
hear it.
So my first year right after high school, I went to UCO immediately.
Yeah.
I had my free ticket to Rose, but I was also what was called Oklahoma's Promise Kid.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at you.
So basically, I could get into majority of the Oklahoma schools
Yeah, yeah.
with I guess free tuition basically. With that, I went straight to UCO. I wanted to be a music theater major because my mentors growing up were Adam and Kizzy.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
bro.
Kizzy was a music theater major at UCO.
I was just
and I wanted
talking
to
about
follow.
them with somebody on the podcast, and I was
Really?
like, bro, I want to try to get them on, but because like they were an
Got
influence
to.
for me too. So,
Got to.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Adam is nuts, bro.
Adam is crazy. I've been knowing Adam since he had locks.
Bro.
I've been knowing Adam since I was 9 years old. Yes.
Well, that's
Through
longer than
rhythmically
me for
speaking.
sure, but yeah,
Crazy.
bro, his stuff is nasty. And then Kizzy's just same way.
He was
It's
the
a whole
first person
different
I
realm.
saw breakdance.
For real.
One of the first people I saw breakdance.
I didn't even know that he danced.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he is hip hop.
he
is
for
hip-hop.
real, dude.
So
Definitely.
yes, huge.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I met she goes by Nell now. I met Nell Kimala at 12.
Okay.
And then I want to say by the time I got my junior year in high school, they got married.
Okay.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great. This is
Right.
perfect.
Dynamic.
And
dude.
around that time, they started their brand, Adam and Kizzy.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was Edo
Right, yeah.
all the way through till I
Yeah.
died. And even before I was came out publicly as Chris Twix Shepard,
Yeah, yeah.
like you couldn't tell me nothing that I was Christopher Edo Shepard. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
Like
up.
the Edo was there.
That's what's up.
It was there.
That's so dope.
So yeah,
I remember
that was
seeing
fun.
them at Deep Deuce performing all the time. and
Yeah,
stuff.
at
they're amazing.
Urban Roots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that was the spot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, shout out Miss
Wild
Fletcher.
stuff.
Yes, that was the spot. So I forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
You graduating.
Oh, graduating.
Yeah,
So I immediately, because of Nell, I wanted to be a music theater major. I didn't get in my first year.
Yeah, yeah.
So my first year at UCO, it was all what do they call it? Where you're just taking class, general studies.
Yeah.
Just general studies. I failed my first year. Both semesters.
Nice.
Failed. I was devastated. I didn't have the time management that I needed in order for me to get the work done.
Right.
The second year going in, I became a music theater major. And I wanted to be very careful. So I had my music theater classes, but I only had like 1 or 2 general studies of the general studies in order for me to graduate. So I took 2 years that way. So that's what, 3 now? 1 year failed, 2 years into it. And then I switched my major to dance. Because by that point, I think the schedule was too rigorous as a music theater major for me to still do things outside of school.
Right.
And I was in race. I was doing shows at the Pollard. Then I began teaching all at that time.
Okay.
So when I switched to dance, it basically added another 3 years in order for me to graduate because I had to catch up on my first year of all those classes that I failed.
Right.
So by that point, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to jump back into that arena of going back to school. Because I wanted to live life without that thing of passing or failing. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think now, obviously, when I do go back, I'm going to say when I do go back,
let's go.
I will go back with a focus and it'll be fine-tuned. As opposed to I'm just going to school because usually we go to school because it's the next step and our parents for sure want you to go. That was the thing. And at that point, I didn't fully know exactly what I wanted to do, and I was still finding that out. But when I do go back, I'm gonna know exactly, specifically.
That's
so
what's up, man.
Yeah,
definitely. I think, man, going back to the whole dance therapy thing. Like, I wish that more people would do that here in Oklahoma because there's so many people, for one, that love dance. But also need, just like you're doing with the dance in the spirit, or what was it?
Moving in the spirit.
Moving in the spirit.
Yeah.
Just like that same concept of like, and I know Josh does a little bit of that whenever he teaches his, at his dance studios.
Yeah.
And so like he'll open it up and, ask them how their week was or, whenever they're moving or teaching a dance. Man, I remember, okay, so flashback to GNWY point 1. I was dancing. Okay, so let's not don't ever ask me to do it again. But nobody, you know what I'm saying? We only had bare minimum, so I had to do it. But the only thing that I remember was whenever Josh taught us this one choreo.
Okay,
and while he was teaching it to us, he was actually having us as a group, not only come together as a community, but also individually. He would make us do individual things. Or lay on the ground telling, asking us, hey, do you feel this in certain areas? And all that kind of stuff. And I was like, bro, this is like therapy. And I was like, this is super dope. And I think he's probably doing it and he don't even have a degree, bro.
And that was the thing,
Y'all are probably naturally just doing this stuff.
That's the thing. When you get to that point of teaching, or when you get to that point of creating, you have to think of every aspect as it is to be a human, not just your body, but you got to think of the mind. You got to think of feelings in order for you to tell that story. Because obviously we're direct instruments of the music. You know what I'm saying? So we're moving to that. So sometimes we're connecting to the artist and we don't even know fully what's going on. But sonically and how the music makes us feel, we have to communicate that. And we have to relay that message specifically to who's watching and to the audience. That's what connects us. That's the next level as a performer, is that connection. How do you get that connection?
Definitely.
So I've been in classes where I'm teaching, and if it's something that's angry, I have to invoke and tell my dancers, how do you tell this story? What experiences have you had? How did you get through it? How do you get over it? Things like that. So for me to later find that there's a degree for it specifically, I'm like, oh,
might as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How can I tap into this? So
yeah, that's so dope, man. And you have to go through and even while he was having us lay down and activate certain parts of your body, and whenever he was talking about certain emotions like that, if you're angry or whatever, where do you feel that in your body first? And I was like, dang, you don't really sit down and like just take that time to just think about, you know, even bodily, you know, where certain things are coming from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, dang, I feel this in my stomach, you know? Like, and that's where it started, you know, whatever. And then, but it really makes you think of like, you know, how you can utilize the arts and more of just, not just creative wise, but like you're also creatively learning how to practically know yourself and know your body and know your, you know, emotions and where they could stem from and all that kind of stuff. And it's beautiful, bro.
Yeah. That's the arts.
Yeah, man. It is.
That's the arts.
And I feel like it's overlooked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
And even with the writing classes that we do with GNWY and whenever we do workshops and stuff for kids, and it's like, you know, these kids sometimes don't even actually just sit down and write in a journal or write out their thoughts, write out like how I'm feeling, all that kind of stuff. And, but like dance is a whole nother way of writing.
Now that you brought that up, you know? Even as a dancer, I just recently, through my mentor, Al Bostic, he's telling me to write it down, not type it. He's telling me to write it down. He said there's something chemically in the brain whenever you have pen or pencil to paper and you putting it down, it helps you remember, it helps you release, as opposed to typing. I mean, I don't know if it's the same thing, but he's also old school, right. But I'm going to take what he says for what he says. And I started journaling and I was able to recall some of the things I was feeling. Sometimes it's just word vomit, not necessarily the story
or making sense,
but not making sense, but I'm getting it out there and I felt better afterwards. Now the consistency of it,
that's okay.
I'm not fully consistent yet. Not yet. However, I feel that. You know what I'm saying? And that, I think that specifically for me as an artist, that's one thing I want to tap into more is the writing. Is the writing, because yes, I'm a storyteller, but a lot of my work is either visual or audible. Not necessarily the full thoughts on paper to write it down, because that'll also help you to save some of your stories, so you know what they are. And that way you can pass it along, right? Because you can pass it along verbally. That's the African way. That's the griot way. They say when a griot passes, a library is lost. It's the equivalent of having a library burned down. So I've learned that portion of it, but also the writing of it. You can tell stories that way. There's so much that I don't even think about. Definitely. Write your thoughts down, right? Definitely. And obviously I was a kid that couldn't sit still. Right. I didn't apply certain skills in school to really write and really write things down. So that's a skill that I'm working on now. That I think is very important.
It's super huge. Even one of our friends, Marcus Black, he's a big advocate of everybody needs to write a book. Okay. And we should get you plugged in with them for sure. And so, but like, and there's something about like, because you don't think, you know what I'm saying, you offer anything or like you're going to sound professional or sound smart or whatever it is. But your story as an individual, you've witnessed some things or you've experienced things that some people have experienced or have not experienced, but they still have not heard your viewpoint on it.
Okay. Makes it relatable.
Exactly. And so I think that, and it's starting to make sense to me because like I've been, you know, insecure about, you know, my story and stuff just for the longest, and even journey of Generation Y and stuff like that. But he's, you know, very forceful and very yelling at everybody. Shout out Marcus. But, you know, he's very adamant about, you know, the whole fact that each and every single one of us have that story. And it needs to be out there. So,
that's dope.
So you need your journey, bro. It would be dope to hear from just in general. You know what I'm saying? Especially your, especially whatever comes out of, you know, Atlanta, you know, and it's a journey right now, but
it's a journey.
What happens whenever you blow up? You know what I'm saying? Everybody would want to hear that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, definitely.
Thank you.
We need to hear it.
Marcus Black, definitely. I gotta check him out.
Yeah, definitely. Because you can, right? That's his tagline.
Oh, I think I met him.
Okay.
I knew the name sounded familiar. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big
because
dude.
you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We met briefly, but we gotta have a genuine conversation. I would love that.
Yeah. He'll get you plugged in for sure. So, I think that the first choreo that I've ever seen you do, bro, was that Joyner Lucas one. The
10 bands.
Yeah, 10 bands.
Yeah.
That was so dope.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
I really wanted to blend styles with that one.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing is fast feet.
Okay.
But it has to make sense. That and getting off of what I call like your center.
Mm.
So when we sit, when we're standing, we have a posture that we create.
Mm.
And for me and my style, it's falling in style.
Falling in style.
Fall. It's that fall and recover.
Mm-hmm.
So for that dance specifically, if you go back and look, the whole time I'm not straight up and down. It always wavers.
Okay.
My weight shifts.
Got you.
So when you want to be solid on 2 feet, I'm telling you to be solid on 1 and then replace it. So
Whoa.
it constantly, it's.
And so
it
you
just
did that
moves.
on purpose?
I did it on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like intentionally, like I would like to recover myself.
Well,
And wherever I go.
yes and no, because the natural instinct for me is I'm clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I created the dance, I created it on me, on myself. So
Gotcha.
I was always clumsy. And
That's
the
wild.
music wise, how it would shift
Yeah.
was a thing. So yes, I can say it was fully intentional. I'm gonna say it's fully intentional.
Yeah.
But it was also some what we call happy accidents. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
That's the-
Happy accident.
that's the thing.
I need to start using that for my son. I like that.
Happy accidents.
accident.
I didn't mean to do that, but it looked
That's
cool.
wild. Yeah, it did, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was like, this dude's actually dope.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I just remember that because that was during COVID,
Mhm.
and you came through and taught a Freestyle Friday class, and it was
I
dope.
miss
bro.
Freestyle Fridays, man.
Man,
We gotta
should
get that
bring
back.
it
You gotta bring it back.
Okay.
You gotta bring it
Alright.
back. It's like a, to me, it felt like a community staple. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Think of it as shout out to Elevate on Wednesdays. They have this class
Yeah.
called Midweek.
Okay.
So that's Wednesday.
Yeah.
But if every other Friday, one Friday of the month,
Mm.
the community needs to go to Generation Y
Yeah.
and have something set up there. I say warmer months, colder months too. Whatever, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what the culture calls for.
Right.
But specifically, I
Yeah,
think
we
it
were
was
doing
cool.
them- I think we were doing them once a month.
Okay.
So or at the last Friday of every month. That's what
Okay.
it was. And so yeah.
I liked
It was
having
dope, man.
different walks of life
Mhm.
in there. I believe I met Julian there.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's where I really got to know Stu. Stu was there.
Yep.
So it
That's
was like a full on networking
Yeah.
connection type thing. Wow, we were
Yeah.
just vibing to music.
Yep.
And if you're vibing to music, you have some dancers in there,
Mhm.
and then you have people that's just there to like just watch or check us
Yeah.
out or any. I think it was really
That's actually
dope.
where we first met Loki.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
And that's how he became a part of the team was Freestyle Friday.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you missing out.
Man,
you got recruits.
I knew we really need to. Man. I think Josh and Rocco were talking about trying to start something back up like that. And
Okay.
So we see a lot of people coming through on Sunday nights.
Okay.
And so we may like try to capitalize on that or something like
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, bro, I was going crazy on Tim Bands for you. Yeah. That's where it made me a big fan of Twix.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's an introduction. I love that.
That isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That was the first choreo that
That's
I think I
wild.
seen you create and teach and
Yeah.
the full circle of it all. So
That's
yeah,
dope.
bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. What's so right now, man?
Mhm.
What's next for stage of life of Twix?
Well,
Chris.
stage of life for me.
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm married now.
Let's go.
I think right now is to really hunker down and build relationships.
Mm.
So I have relationships here in Oklahoma City, but because there's distance, I got to strengthen those.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Don't lose touch, don't lose connection to the city and to the young ones here.
Mhm.
So that's really important for me.
Yeah.
2, in Atlanta, it's getting out and seeing what the city and seeing what that culture has to offer,
Yeah.
for sure, and where I can fit in there,
Right.
or where can I carve my lane there.
Mhm.
So, though that for sure, I want to work with APS, with Atlanta Public Schools. I want to do something there. I know here in OKC, in Oklahoma City Public Schools, I was able to go in and be a guest teacher, but I just want to see. I want people to see positive work.
Yeah.
What else can you do? with your life, positive avenues for those young ones. That I love the work that I'm doing with Moving in the Spirit. And I'm an actor. So I think right now the arena that I'm getting myself into is film for sure. Right. That's the biggest thing. It's something that I've always wanted to do, even younger at age 7, that I knew I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to get into that arena. I've done a little bit with my time here. I've done, I'll say 3 films.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's dope.
But as well as I want to do it more to where I'm comfortable, to where no matter at what point I can audition.
Right.
Same thing with stage. I've done a lot of stage work and I still want to do it. I just have my focus on film.
Right.
So
That's
I think
dope.
Between,
there's a lot of opportunities out there for film and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think that's my big
see
3.
You in a movie, bro? You trying to go for like a superhero or like a
always
rom-com or
always? You know I love superheroes.
Bro, now we
actually that's my top 2. That's my top 2 superheroes and rom-coms.
For real?
I'm serious.
How did I know?
I'm serious,
bro. I just know Twix like this, man. That's dope. That's fire. And for people who don't know this, okay, what's your favorite Power Ranger?
My favorite Power Ranger is the Yellow Ranger. Straight up. The nerd of nerds. So the reason why I like the Yellow Ranger, it's a triple entendre.
Okay.
So the first one it was the Ranger that, if you look at the Super Sentai in Japan, it was a male, but when they moved it to the U.S. Western, they changed the casting of it so it to play female.
Okay.
I think the first Ranger was Latin. The first Yellow Ranger was Latin, and then something came up to where they flipped it and they made it Asian. Okay. Made her Asian. Yeah. So even then, she was my favorite Ranger. I love tigers. So a saber-tooth tiger was for real for me.
That's dope.
People were like, "Oh, that's a woman plays that," and I was like, "I don't care."
Right.
But it was the only Ranger that didn't necessarily have the skirt, so I could like pull it off. You know what I'm saying? And yellow's my favorite color.
Okay.
It's my favorite color.
Either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
I wanted to be bright, and I like that, and the saber-tooth tiger. So I have these pair of shoes, fam.
I seen them. Yeah, you posted them.
The Reeboks. People, the Reeboks. My favorite pair is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Yellow Ranger shoes. Yes. It's crazy because the box looks like the leg of the Megazord. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like if I collected all of them, I could have the full Megazord. But I was like, nah, I just want the leg. You know what I'm saying?
I just want the leg.
It's serious. It's serious. I love the Yellow Ranger.
Did it come with anything else, like a coin or anything?
No. It just came with that one box. However,
have you worn them?
I've worn them twice.
Okay.
Twice.
To wear.
I don't dance in them.
But to where did you wear them to?
I wore them.
I feel like that's.
I had a master class at a school.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I know for sure I wore it to a master class at school.
Yeah.
And I always have like carry 2 pairs of shoes with me.
Yeah.
So I have one that I wear. I call it for drip. So I want people to see me in these shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then when it's time to put the work in, I switch them. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But I always keep them out on display.
You got to. Yeah.
To where people are like, those are nice. It's not necessarily the Jordans, but they fire to me. You know what I'm saying? So
that's
dope. Like and wear what you like. So yeah.
And you, speaking of Kick Game, bro, you were also a part of Variant, right?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Selling shoes as well.
Yes. He's been selling.
You're a man of many talents.
John, like I said, big bro, the first person that gave me the idea to propose publicly like that on stage. He is one half of Variant Sneakers and Apparel. Yeah. So between him and Christian, John is a big influence for me. Yeah. I've known him since 2013. Yeah. And then he started his business in 2021, around that time. Okay. But even when he started his business in 2020, for sure, it was Rufio's Kicks. Yeah. And it just grew and grew and grew. And he was like, you know what? I'm thinking about doing like a brick and mortar. I was like, go for it, fam. Yeah. He had that idea then. This was like full on pandemic. I want to say like the world shut down in March. Yeah. He told me this idea by July. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And he had that idea, and to see it come to fruition, and to see it be dope, and to see see the community gravitate towards it, I was like, all right, look, that's dope.
That's a jump.
That's the
bro.
first time I've seen firsthand someone have a dream and it come to life that quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Just from saying it.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
yeah, that was special.
Last time I was
special.
there, he was like, "Man, my back hurt. I need to quit dancing." I was like, "Bro, people love it though, man." But yeah, he seems like a super hardworking dude, man.
Yeah.
So
Super hardworking dude, family man, quiet, but he was also one of the first people that said, "I am hip hop." You know what I'm saying?
What?
I've never
That's
heard someone
fire.
call themselves hip hop.
And
Then when you think about it, like the shoe game, that's hip hop. When you talk about the dance and his dance style, that's hip hop. When he teaches, he doesn't just give you moves; he gives you the history with it too.
Wow.
So he's giving you all of that. He's an artist, draws, hip hop, all the above. He is one person that I see encapsulated all, and then the company keeps his friends around him. Just the same. So I'm like, okay, him alone, that culture, he is that culture that he invokes. So that's dope. And now I just wanted to be like Big Bro. So now when people ask me what hip hop is, I gotta say I am hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So,
bro, that's a dope title.
Yeah,
to say that I
it's
am
crazy.
hip-hop. Yeah,
it's crazy.
that is dope.
Helped
man.
me develop my name too. So I do go by Chris or Twix. In Atlanta, they just call me Twix, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Because in the building, the moving in the spirit, there's 2 Chris's.
Okay.
So in order to stop that confusion, I go by Twix.
Yeah.
He goes by Chris. That and he's old. He's older than me.
Right.
So he's been there longer.
The respect. Yeah.
And even if they do call us Chris, he's Chris 1. I'm Chris 2. But even with them saying Chris 2, they just call me Twix. There is a lady there that will purposely wait for us to both enter the room and say Chris, just for us
See if
to
y'all
both turn around.
Right.
And then she's just cracking up laughing.
That's hilarious.
So shout out to Miss J.
yeah. That's dope, man. Well, man, I think that you're doing an amazing stuff. I mean, you made a pretty big imprint in OKC, bro, and we really appreciate your energy that you bring to the table, and the community and everything, bro. And definitely whoever told you that there's eyes on you, they were not lying, bro. So we appreciate everything that you're doing. If you can, bro, since we told you or you gave us the full rundown of who Twix is and Chris and everything like that, right? If you can, tell everybody for one right here where they can follow you, and then also tell them one quote or one tagline that you live by.
Got you. Pressure. All right. First, my name. My name is Chris Twix Shepard. That is Chris Twix, like the candy bar. Yeah. Don't come after me. Yeah. Shepard. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, you can find me directly by that. On Twitter is a little bit different. It'll still have Twix, but I think I have put a crown in there. But however, no matter what, that's what I am on all platforms. Under that, my title, I say I'm the hip hop griot. So through hip hop, I tell the story. I tell stories. So that is me. You said a quote?
Yep.
A quote. Well, my favorite quote is live, love, continue. So live everything that you do. Live. Don't just exist. Love what you do, love each other, and continue, which is that consistency of always doing that work. So if you live by those 3 things, you can't lose.
That's real, bro. Thank you so much for your time, bro. For real, it's always a pleasure. And if you can, do not forget to like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things so we can get Twix's stories out more effectively. Thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Peace.